I'll be taking you for a spin on how I use the new iPhone 16 Pro Max to get the most from my day. I'll take you through my home screen layout and some of the features that I find the most useful, and I'll go through the apps I'm currently using at the end of the video. Let's start with the home screen layout. So you can see I've got a monochrome look with minimal distraction. It's a one-page setup, and I've got all of the tools I need just for staying focused and productive. You can achieve this look by downloading a pure black wallpaper, go to edit in the top corner, and then customize, and then make sure you've selected tinted and that you've made your app icons large to remove the distracting text. You can see that I've customized my control center when I swipe from the top to have only one page of essential controls and apps that I use often but I try and hide from view so I don't procrastinate too much. Keep it clean and keep it contained to one page. And to the left of that, I've got some information widgets for my car, for my batteries. I've got quick access to finance apps and a calculator app. And yeah, I've pretty much gotten rid of all other distractions. If I want to search for my apps, I've got my app library to the right, or I'll just use Spotlight. Okay, so let's talk quick actions. I love the new camera control button, and it's freed up the action button on the other side of the phone, which I now use for my house alarm. I've also kept the flashlight shortcut on my lock screen, but I have changed the other one because I don't need the camera anymore there. And I've mapped it to open Pocket Casts, which is my podcast player of choice. I find I open this app so often that it just makes sense to have it front and center without having to unlock my phone. I've also still got Siri mapped to my power button when I hold that down. This is the new Apple Intelligence Siri, although it's not very intelligent at the moment. I've also turned off the feature which enables my phone to listen for the trigger words, "Hey Siri," mainly for privacy reasons, but also because it's a constant drain on my battery. The camera control button has been an absolute game changer for me. It's given a physical feeling to holding your phone and taking a picture, which has unlocked a lot of creativity for me. You can see here that the same picture, I can quickly flip between different photographic styles to achieve a different look. And it just feels more fun using this as a camera than it did before. The ultra-wide camera now is fantastic for macro photography too. You can now take pictures of your perfectly prepared coffee, even closer up than before. And the 120 frames per second 4K video recording you can see here is absolutely gorgeous in daylight. The camera control button has absolutely changed it for me. I'm now taking content left, right, and center. Oh, and if you're wondering what kind of case I'm using the Pitaka Ultra Slim case, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's woven from aerospace grade fiber, so basically a material that's 5 times stronger, yet lighter than steel. I've also got this case in Sunset, which is absolutely beautiful, especially for the Desert Titanium model. It's resistant to scratches and genuinely feels durable and light. It's the closest I've found to like having your phone basically naked, which is what we all want, but we also don't want to risk not putting a case on it. So I found this case to be a perfect compromise. So I charge my phone each night using this Anker 3-in-1 charger. I dock my iPhone in standby mode, and then in the background, a shortcut automation is triggered to turn off all my lights and turn on my house alarm. So all of that happens as soon as I dock my phone onto this charger. I don't really use focus modes too much because I try and keep my phone super minimal and distraction free anyway. But I do use the sleep focus mode, which comes on each night, and it's like a do not disturb. The way I try and keep this phone distraction free is to turn off pretty much almost all of my notifications, but then a whole bunch of other notifications that I only allow in a scheduled summary. 3 times a day, I'll be presented with a set of notifications that aren't really that important, but I still like to know. I try and minimize distractions by using my Apple Watch as well, so I don't need to keep going to my phone every time I want to achieve something. I use this Moth tripod stand quite a lot as well, so I thought I'd mention it here. Mainly to just watch videos and media, but sometimes for FaceTime calls and Zoom calls. But it's by far my most used iPhone accessory, not just at home, but when I travel as well. And now with macOS Sequoia, you can mirror your phone to your computer screen, so you actually don't ever need to touch your phone in order to interact with it. So I keep my phone now in a drawer when I'm working, and actually I find not having the physical thing in my hand means it's far less distracting. I try and make it as hard as possible for my brain to wander mindlessly into social media apps, and I've done that by putting those social media apps in the control center. Just the fact that I need to swipe up from the top right to access them means that I access them far less often and I access them far more intentionally. Okay, so onto my apps. So you can see here I've got a bunch of widgets. The first one is the calendar app. This is the native calendar app, although the widget next to it is actually from Fantastical, which is an alternative calendar app, which I just really like the design for, especially for this particular widget. So I find these two go really well together. And then underneath that is a widget for my streaks. So streaks is a habit tracker, and the idea is that you build up streaks whenever you complete a certain activity. So just having this front and center means I never forget to start building up on these habits. One of the 4 apps you can see there is Apple Notes. I pretty much live in Apple Notes. Everything I capture usually goes there. And I structure my notes using the Para method. If you're not sure what the Para method is, I will link that down below. I've also got YouTube Studio so I can keep track of stats for my channel. I do all of my life management, finance, expenses, and everything else in Notion. And I got the app Perplexity, which is basically my replacement for Google. It's far more intelligent, far quicker, gets you the information you need far more efficiently. And if you haven't tried Perplexity, I highly recommend giving it a go. In my dock, I have all of my important apps, namely Things Free, which is the best to-do list task manager there is. Again, I've structured my to-do list lists using the Para method, and I pretty much live in this app every day. I use it to maintain focus on what I need to achieve. And I've obviously got WhatsApp because in the UK and Europe, we tend really not to use messages. It's more WhatsApp. I use Spark as my email client, and I've got the phone app as well. Sometimes you forget that this is actually a phone. And I love my widget for Pinterest because it just gives me daily inspiration for interior design and desk setups and other geeky stuff. Other notable apps are Carrot Weather, which is a beautifully designed weather app that I use instead of the stock weather app. ChatGPT, because who can live without ChatGPT? Dark Reader for Safari to make all my websites in Safari dark. The new Reader app is really, really nice. So it's a read it later app for you to save links and bookmark stuff. It's a really fluid, nice experience and gives you a nice clean view of whatever it is you're reading. I use reminders for shared reminders with my partner for things like taking out the trash. Wonderlog is a fantastic app to organize a trip. I recently used this for a trip to Japan. And Yuka is a really great app where you can scan the barcode of any food item and it will give you a whole bunch of nutritional information about it, including a score out of 100. Don't eat cheesecake. So that's a full guide in all the ways I use my phone to stay productive. If you want a more in-depth look at the apps I find help my productivity, check out the video at the end of this one. Please remember to hit the like button, and until the next time, stay productive.